Hello everyone. If you watched the video about if statements, I was having some confusion with string compare. And that's totally my bad. I was treating it as if it was returning a true or false, but it's actually returning a numeric value. Which, yes, I remember this now that I remember it, I remember it. But before it had been a while, so I just wanted to clear that up and go over what's happening there so that no one's confused by using it. So I set up a little demo here. So we have some strings, and I'm realizing I'm not even using this in the demo, but we'll just leave it in for now. But I figured A, B, C, that's fairly easy to understand as far as ranking, so if you use a string compare on string A and string B, the result will be negative. If you use a string compare on A and A, of course, they will be equal. They are the same thing. And then if you do something with B and then A, then it will be a positive. Now, why is it negative, positive, or 0? The idea is if you're sorting and you want to compare, you could say that the negative means it needs to go down, the positive means it needs to go up, something to that effect, right? So using the value will determine if it is greater than or less than the thing that you're comparing it with. So that's kind of the general idea. So we have this kind of rudimentary setup here. I will compile and show you the output there. So A and B, you would get a -1 because you're comparing A with B. And here you can see you're comparing B with A. You get the opposite. You get a positive result. And of course, A with A is equal. So here's a couple other things to review. We'll compile here. Okay, so another thing you can do is do comparisons with substrings. Now, I'm assuming not everyone knows what substrings are here, but basically it's a portion of the string that you're comparing against. So in this case, 1 and 3, 1 is the character to start with, and 3 is the number of characters that you're going to want. So in this case, it's PPL. You can see down here. So PPL compared with banana is a positive, which is a interesting result. But you can see this kind of comparison, or excuse me, the substring, which is this, is in place to print out, showing that the compare is doing the same thing. So compare is getting the substring, and substring here is getting the substring. So those two are the same results. Okay, so let's go here and compile and check out the next example here. So I tried to think of some random words that started with C and D that had a similar had letters that matched up, so you can see that there was an equal comparison. So compare and derelict have an RE in them, and so I figured out where they were in the string, and comparing you get a 0 because we're only comparing this portion with this portion. So this is kind of convoluted. You probably wouldn't be doing something like this, but it's possible. So if you only wanted to compare the substring of one string compared to the substring of another, it is totally possible to do in this manner. And the last two here, we will compile and take a look. And what do you get? You get the exact same result. So what I wanted to do is show strcmp, or strcmp, with string compare. So what's the difference here? So A is a string, which is an object, right? So up here you can see, where did I define A? Sorry. String, right? And so a string is an object, but C does not understand what an object is, and strcmp comes from the C part of C++, the older style. And so this works with a string because strings know how to do a compare, right? And the compare on a string also knows how to compare with a literal or a C style string, right? And so you get the 0 here because A, which is defined as apple above, is the same as apple, of course. And here I reversed it a little bit just to kind of show you that it doesn't matter the order so much, but strcmp is comparing this, which is a literal string, with the A converted to a C string, which essentially will turn it into the same thing under the hood, and you will get a 0 as well. So you'll see the apple and apple, they're all apples. Comparing apples to apples, you get a 0. That's kind of how that works, right? So strcmp and string compare are, behaving in similar way. Now, you probably aren't going to want to use strcmp most of the time. I believe the equals is probably the best way to do it at this point. But there are cases where it may make sense to use it, or maybe you've seen this in some code and you were confused by what it does. And so anyhow, I just wanted to outline that and clear up the confusion from the last video. So hopefully that did so. So, well, thanks for dropping by. We'll pick up again on the next video. Thank you.